So you're in the home stretch of your argument essay, right?
Hmm.
You've got something down on paper, but now you want to make it truly compelling, the kind of essay that leaves no doubt in your reader's mind.
Yeah, really make it impactful.
Exactly. This deep dive is designed to be exactly what you need right now, your focused guide to sharpening that argument for maximum impact.
Think of it as putting the final keen edge on your thinking. We're drawing on some really targeted resources here.
We are. Insights from video lectures specifically about crafting strong arguments,
A chapter from an academic writing guide zeroing in on argumentation techniques, yeah.
and even those pre-writing exercises, and the very rubric that will be used to evaluate your work, the practical stuff.
Right, so the mission, our aim today, is to cut through the noise and give you concrete steps you can take immediately.
Precisely. By the end of this, you should feel equipped to confidently refine your essay so it's not just clear, but genuinely persuasive when you submit it.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the big picture, maybe.
Good idea. It's surprisingly easy to get hyper-focused on a specific part of your argument and lose sight of the foundational elements.
Totally. So let's zoom out for a moment and revisit the overall requirements of the assignment itself.
Right. We're talking about those seemingly basic things that can actually trip you up if you overlook them, like have you double-checked the required page length?
Crucial.
Mhm.
And is the submission deadline firmly in your sights? Sounds obvious, but
It happens. In the genre, are you absolutely sure your essay aligns with what was asked for? Argumentative, not just informative.
and those core questions your instructor posed, have you addressed them directly and thoroughly? That's key.
Definitely. And let's not forget the roadmap to success, the evaluation criteria.
The rubric, yeah.
Yeah.
That essay rubric your instructor provided is invaluable, really.
Take another look at it. What specific aspects will your essay be judged on?
Understanding these criteria intimately will allow you to strategically prioritize your final revisions and ensure you're hitting all the key markers. It tells you what they value.
That's a great point. And in academic writing, the expectations within your discipline are crucial. What kind of evidence is considered strong in this field?
Right, and the citation style, the rubric, specifically mentions APA format, so a meticulous review of your in-text citations and your references page is essential. Can't skip that.
No, absolutely not. Okay, so once you have that framework firmly in mind, let's delve into the core of your persuasive effort, your argumentative thesis.
Your claim, yeah. The engine driving your entire essay, like you said before.
It needs to be remarkably clear and pinpoint precisely what you want your reader to ultimately accept or understand.
And a crucial element here is that it must be debatable. It
Yeah.
can't be a question
Right.
or just a statement of fact that's universally accepted.
Yeah.
There needs to be room for reasoned disagreement.
That's the critical difference, isn't it? Between an informative statement and an argumentative one. An informative thesis just conveys information.
Whereas an argumentative thesis takes a definitive stance. Our resources highlight different kinds of claims you might construct. Policy, advocating for a specific action.
Like, we should do X.
Exactly. Or value asserting a judgment about something, like X is better than Y.
Okay.
Definition arguing for a particular understanding of a term, perhaps. And cause-effect establishing a relationship between events or phenomena.
And if you're building on previous work, say an informative essay, and aiming to make it argumentative, there are some effective techniques you can use.
Yeah, the sources mentioned a few ways to kind of pivot.
Right. You can inject a value judgment. So shifting from something neutral like technology has changed communications.
Something like the constant connectivity offered by modern technology has eroded meaningful interpersonal relationships. See, value judgment.
Yeah, that eroded adds the argumentative edge. Or you could transform a description into an evaluation.
Like moving from online education offers flexibility.
While offering flexibility, online education ultimately compromises the quality of learning. Again, that evaluative word.
Or even turn a comparison into advocacy. Like, although both have advantages, a liberal arts education provides a more robust foundation for long-term success than a purely vocational one.
So you're taking a side.
Exactly. These subtle yet significant changes can dramatically reshape the purpose and direction of your essay.
Okay, makes sense. Now, let's consider how to structure your argument effectively, especially how you can strategically use material you've already developed, maybe from that informative synthesis essay.
Ah, yes. Leveraging prior work. Smart.
Here's where you can really make your previous work pay off. You've already done the heavy lifting of gathering information and exploring different perspectives, right?
I've got the raw materials.
Exactly. Now it's about thoughtfully selecting and arranging that material to build a persuasive case for the specific position you've chosen.
Think of your informative essay as your pool of evidence. Now you're carefully selecting and crafting that evidence into a powerful argumentative structure. It requires restructuring, usually.
Yeah, definitely some reorganization. A logically sound argument unfolds in a clear and organized manner. Typically, you'll begin with an introduction that presents your argumentative thesis,
Clear and upfront.
followed by body paragraphs, each presenting a distinct reason that supports your central claim, backed by evidence.
And you might also include a section that addresses counterarguments, which we'll get to.
We will. And you'll conclude with a paragraph that summarizes your main points and offers a final thought, or maybe a call to action.
Standard structure, but crucial to get right. And those body paragraphs are the workhorses of your argument.
Totally. Each one needs a focused topic sentence that directly contributes to your overall thesis. Can't just be a random fact.
No, it has to advance the argument.
Yeah.
Then comes the crucial part, integrating evidence from your sources. But simply dropping in a quote isn't enough, is it?
Not at all. Your evidence must be accurate, relevant, and provide sufficient support for the claim you're making within that paragraph.
And this is absolutely key, something the resources really stress. You must explicitly explain how that evidence supports your claim.
The warrant. Right. That explanatory link. Don't leave it to your reader to make the connection.
You need to articulate it clearly. As one of our video resources pointed out, we can't just hope the reader will understand how the evidence bolsters our argument. You have to show them.
Precisely. You're essentially interpreting the evidence for your reader, demonstrating how the research you've cited logically leads to your conclusion for that paragraph.
And a vital point emphasized in the videos. Be cautious about using the word proof.
Ah, yes. Good point.
Terms like indicates, suggests, or likely trend are generally more appropriate in academic discourse.
It sounds more credible, less like overstating your case. The pursuit of knowledge is often about building a strong case, not necessarily offering irrefutable proof.
Which brings us nicely to the importance of transitions and ensuring that your discussion of evidence consistently reinforces your central argument.
Right, the glue holding it all together. Transitions act as bridges within your essay, creating a smooth and logical flow between sentences, paragraphs, and overarching ideas.
Think of them as navigational cues for your reader, words and phrases that signal the direction of your argument. Furthermore, consequently, signposts.
Yeah, signposts. And those forward-looking sentences at the end of a paragraph can be particularly effective, kind of hinting at what's coming next in your line of reasoning.
Setting expectations. And within each body paragraph, as you analyze your evidence, always circle back to your main argumentative claim for that specific paragraph.
And by extension, your overarching thesis. Don't let your evidence just hang there.
No, actively explain how it strengthens your argument and advances your overall position. Constantly reinforce that connection.
Okay. Now, what about those who might hold a different view? This is where thoughtfully integrating counterarguments becomes important.
Right. Addressing the opposition. Engaging with opposing viewpoints actually enhances the strength of your own argument, somewhat counterintuitively.
It does. It demonstrates that you've considered other perspectives and approached the issue with intellectual honesty. You seem more credible.
So how do you find them? Consider what someone who disagrees with you might argue. Try playing devil's advocate with your own thesis.
Yeah, argue against yourself for a minute. As one of the videos suggested, even imagine having a debate about your topic. What would the other side say?
And the resources offer some useful phrases for introducing these counterarguments. Phrases like, opponents might argue that, or it's important to consider the view that.
Pretty standard ways to signal it, but simply presenting the counterargument isn't enough, obviously.
Exactly. That's only half the job. You must then respond to that counterargument in a clear and reasoned way.
Explain why it doesn't ultimately undermine your main argument or how your position still holds true despite the opposing view. This is the crucial refutation or response.
And use transitional phrases to signal this shift, like, while it's true that, however, or although some may believe, the evidence suggests otherwise. You need that pivot back.
Makes sense. Okay, now, depending on your instructor's guidelines, our resources touch upon the possibility of incorporating personal experience into your argument essay. This can be tricky.
Yeah, tread carefully here. If relevant and used sparingly, You might include a paragraph or two drawing on personal experience, typically positioned maybe before your conclusion.
But it's vital to maintain an academic tone throughout, even when sharing personal anecdotes. Avoid overly informal language.
And be very careful not to let your personal experience become the sole foundation of your argument. It's usually support, not the main pillar.
Instead, think about how you might frame those personal experiences as broader illustrative examples. Generalize it a bit.
Or, the sources mention the possibility of using collective pronouns like we, our, or us, though, caveat here. It's always wise to check your instructor's preferences on this. Some dislike it.
Good point. Check the assignment sheet or ask. And definitely avoid phrases like I think or I believe.
Right. Opt for language that emphasizes evidence and reasoned analysis, not just personal opinion. Keep it objective sounding.
Okay. All right, you've invested significant effort in drafting and revising. Now comes the crucial final stage of review.
The final polish. As Kelly wisely put it in one of the videos, it's time to put on your ninja eyes when preparing for submission.
Ha! Ninja eyes. I like that. It's time for that meticulous final review. Begin by revisiting the essay assignment and that all-important rubric one last time.
Seriously, again? Yes, again. Does your essay directly address every single criterion outlined? Double check.
Next, try reading your essay aloud. This is an incredibly effective technique, I find.
Oh yeah. For identifying awkward phrasing, areas where your integration of sources might feel forced, and just ensuring a natural and logical flow of your ideas, you hear things you don't see.
You really do. Pay particular attention to those areas specifically highlighted in the rubric, the effectiveness of your integration and discussion of evidence,
The strength of your organization and structure, the development within your paragraphs.
the clarity and impact of your conclusion, your language and style, the accuracy of your grammar and mechanics.
And of course, the correctness of your APA format and citations. All those little details the rubric covers.
And be especially critical when evaluating your evidence. Ask yourself, is it accurate and credible?
Is there enough evidence to adequately support your claims? Is it directly relevant to the points you're making?
Have you avoided cherry-picking evidence? Only using stuff that supports your argument while ignoring contradictory information.
And, maybe most importantly, have you thoroughly and clearly explained the connection between your evidence and your argument? Back to the warrant.
Always back to the warrant. And while you're in this focused review mode, be sure to watch out for any logical fallacies in your reasoning.
Yeah, make sure your arguments are sound and that your conclusions are well supported by the evidence you've presented. No leaps in logic.
Finally, let's talk APA formatting one more time, please.
It matters. Double-check your title page, abstract if required, all of your in-text citations, including those important signal phrases that introduce your sources.
And your complete references page. Make certain everything aligns with the APA 7th edition guidelines or whatever style was assigned.
And don't forget that valuable resources like the Writing Center are available to provide support during this final stage. Use them if you have them.
Absolutely. So there you have it. By concentrating on these key aspects, truly understanding the assignment, crafting a strong and debatable thesis,
strategically structuring your argument and integrating your evidence effectively, ensuring smooth transitions and a clear connection between your evidence and your claims.
thoughtfully addressing counterarguments, using personal experience judiciously and in an academic tone,
And applying those ninja eyes for a thorough final review, you can confidently submit a well-crafted and persuasive argument essay.
embrace this final stage of refinement. Pay close attention to the nuances. Make sure every element of your essay works in concert to powerfully convey your argument and leave a lasting impression.
It's worth that final push.
It really is. And remember, the ability to construct a compelling argument isn't just a skill for academic essays. It's really a fundamental skill.
For life, really.
It'll shape how you communicate, how you interpret information, and how you articulate your ideas effectively in all facets of your life. Give that some thought.